Damian Lillard is having a historically bad start to the 2022 NBA season. And what I mean by historically bad is that, not that he's just bad, is that it's his worst start in his career. Now, Damian Lillard obviously is one of those players who's a high volume shooter, and high volume shooters do tend to have cold streaks, but this is one that I've never seen from Damian Lillard. 17 points per game, 3 rebounds, 7 assists on a 45% true shooting percentage. Look at these splits. He's shooting 36% from the field, 8% from 3, and 93% from the free throw line. That is crazy. I've never seen Damian Lillard start off this bad. So it must make you question, is there a point to this? Now, we've seen superstars start bad in the past. Look at, you can just look recently. James Harden started horrible for the Houston Rockets, and it was an attempt to get him out of Houston. Vince Carter started terrible for the Raptors one year, and eventually he went to Brooklyn, or not Brooklyn, but New Jersey, and once he got traded, he started picking it back up and was an all-star player again. So this must make you question, is Damian Lillard doing this for a reason? Now let's just look over the history of the Portland Trailblazers the past couple years. Last year, they lost in 6 to a Nuggets team which was so injured that the Nuggets should have lost. The year before that, they get almost swept in the first round against the LA Lakers, and they had no chance in that series, and I think everybody understands that. The year before that, they make the Western Conference Finals. And yes, this is where the Portland Trailblazers peaked when it comes to playoff performance, but they played so bad in the Western Conference Finals, and even in the second round, they were lucky that they were facing a very young Nuggets team who had flaws of themselves. Now, what I think Damian Lillard sees is that he cannot win with the squad, and I think he knows that. I think he's known that for a couple years now, but he wants to stay loyal. But I think eventually his loyalty is going to wear out. The Portland Trailblazers have made so many small moves, like getting Robert Covington, Derrick Jones Jr., getting Norman Powell. What I mean by small moves is that, yeah, those are good moves, but they're not superstars. And Damian Lillard, for him to win a championship, needs a superstar next to him, because LeBron and AD are not going to slow down for the next 2 years. Jokic and Jamal Murray or MPJ still going to beat you out. So he needs a superstar with him. And I think he understands that that is not going to happen in Portland. So the biggest thing that I want to see Damian Lillard do is stay like this. Will Portland trade him? No. But if he stays playing bad, maybe he does request a trade at some point. So for me, Damian Lillard's best option is to get out of Portland, because I want to see him win a championship. Yeah, Damian Lillard is already very accomplished. He was just named to the top 75 players of all time list, a week ago or something like that. But Damian Lillard needs that title to really push him into the all-time greats. And what I mean by this is not by me, because to me, you don't need a championship to move up rankings. But for everybody else, you kind of do. So let's go over some Damian Lillard trades and see what the best situation can be for him. So the first team that I think should target Damian Lillard is the Utah Jazz. And for many people, they do not expect the Utah Jazz to be the people to go after Damian Lillard. But Damian Lillard, Donovan Mitchell, and Rudy Gobert is the championship. Now, yeah, maybe you need a couple injuries to get that championship, but Donovan Mitchell in the postseason is a superstar. And maybe not so much on Rudy Gobert, but you know what? The scoring will outweigh so many things that I think it'll be fine. The trade would be Mike Conley, Jordan Clarkson, Eric Pascal, and 3 first-round picks for Damian Lillard. Now, yes, Damian Lillard's current value is not this. The way that he's playing right now, he might not be better than Mike Conley right now, as in production-wise. But we all know what Damian Lillard can do. He can average about 30 for you a season, 30 points, 8 assists on really good efficiency. And yeah, that's what the Jazz get out of this thing. Now, going to the Jazz is going to be very hard for Damian Lillard to consider, because he doesn't like the city of Utah. There's no reason for him to go there. And also, it's not like Utah is that much better than the Portland Trailblazers right now. I agree that Utah can be a perennial top 3 seed in the West. Portland, not so much. But what I mean by this is that Utah is not contending like the Portland Trailblazers aren't contending. But if they do get Damian Lillard to put alongside Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert, they're definitely contending. Now, for the Utah Jazz, they do give up depth and a good young role player in Jordan Clarkson, but you don't care. Utah has no championships, and you kind of need a championship. You just need a championship in general. Okay, the next trade that would be for Damian Lillard to contend is the 76ers. Now, you might be like, bro, James Harden and Kevin Durant are a better duo than Damian Lillard and Joel Embiid. And I think it's kind of close, but I can see where you're coming from. But James Harden this season has started off so bad to where I think that the 76ers can eventually reach contention because James Harden is not playing good. His whole play style is changing, and to a certain extent, it's not for the better. So, the trade would be Ben Simmons, Matisse Thybulle, Tyrese Maxey, and 2 first-round picks for Damian Lillard. Now, why? Why do the 76ers have to include 2 young players along with a 3-time All-Star and 2 first-round picks? Well, Ben Simmons, quite frankly, has the worst trade value of his career. Now, if we were to do this trade a couple years ago, maybe it was Ben Simmons and Tyrese Maxey and a first. That could probably get it done. But no, Ben Simmons has the trade value of a squirrel. He's useless right now. He doesn't want to be in Philly, and he said he wants to go to a contender. And this would not put him on a contender if you're on a team, on a Portland Trailblazers team with CJ McCollum and Yusuf Nurkic. You're definitely not going to be on a contender. Now, the Trailblazers will and probably will never do this. They do not want Ben Simmons. Like, they would take Ben Simmons if they keep Damian Lillard. And I just think that's unrealistic. So, for this to happen, Damian Lillard would have to demand a trade. So, before we get into the last trade, I just want to touch on why I haven't put out a Damian Lillard trade or to the Golden State Warriors. And I feel like the Golden State Warriors are confident enough in what they have right now. And I think they should be confident enough. Now, to me, they can easily make the Western Conference Finals. And yeah, they're contenders. To me, I think that they can make the finals and maybe win the championship. So I don't think they would trade for Damian Lillard. And the last one is New York. People think the New York Knicks are a great situation because they're in New York and they have a lot of draft picks. When in reality, to me, I don't think that's the truth. Damian Lillard and Julius Randle and Evan Fournier are not winning a championship. So that would be a very lateral move for Damian Lillard. It'd be useless. It'd be another team where he just gets second round exits. Or maybe every once in a while he'll make the conference finals and then get swept. The New York Knicks would not be good for Damian Lillard. But for all this to happen, Damian Lillard would have to demand a trade. And for this trade, he's going to Boston. Boston capitalizes on Damian Lillard because this is a top 10 player you can add to your roster. Now just think of this. You have a top 10 player in Damian Lillard. You have like a top 14 player in Jason Tatum. That is all you need to win a championship. Now, maybe you're not winning a championship in the East because Kevin Durant and James Harden exist, but I think that they have a chance of beating them. The trade will be Jaylen Brown, Juancho Hernangomez, Aaron Nesmith for Damian Lillard. Jaylen Brown is a two-way wing, which you can start your rebuild off with. He's very young, and he's a lot of years left on his contract. 3 years left on his contract at a really good deal for an all-star, $24.8 million. But Damian Lillard brings, obviously, a championship ceiling to Boston. That's exactly what they need, and right now I think they're in a very stagnant place. Boston, to me, can end somewhere from a 5 seed to a 7 seed this year. Their offenses look so streaky and weird. I don't know if they can beat the greatest teams in the league because of how weird it's been. Dennis Schroeder, to me, they called a good pickup. To me, he hasn't been looking that good. But nonetheless, this only happens if Damian Lillard demands a trade. And I don't expect him to demand one, but because he's playing so poorly, maybe it's showing that he has lost motivation with the Portland Trailblazers. Thank y'all for watching. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, do all that. And yeah, I'll see y'all next time.
Hey, come on, I got a bag on me. You try to take it, leave you stinking like your last homie. She kinda cakey, little baby, put that ass on me. But I ain't that horny, do you got some cash for me? Why every time you ask him that, bitches act funny. And you keep trying to hold the strap, you won't slap for me. You too happy, I can tell you never had money. Every time you get on live, gotta flash money.